Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Kopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Shri Bhakti Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Contradictory Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. All glories to the simple devotees. All glories to the simple devotees. All glories to the simple devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Guranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, The Science of God, Chapter 2, Hiranyakashipu, King of the Demons, Text 44. Suyajña nan vayam shete mudha yam anushochata yaha shota yo nuvakteha sa na drishyate drishyata karhachit Suyajña nan vayam shete mudhayam anushochata yashotayo nuvakteha sana drishyata karhachit Suyajña nan vayam shete mudhayam anushochata yashotayo nuvakteha sana drishyata karhachit Suyajña nan vayam shete mudhayam anushochata yashotayo nuvakteha sana drishyata karhachit
Suyajño navayam shete Udhaya manushochata Yashrotayon vakteha Sana drishyata karhichi
Suyajño nanvayam sete Udayam anushochata Yashrotaya anubhakteha Sanadrishyeta karhichit.
Kashvani. Like to. Suyajña. The king named Suyajña. Nanu, indeed. Ayam, this. Shete, lies. Mudhaha, O foolish people. Yam, whom anushochata, you cry for. Yaha, he who. Shota, the hearer. Yaha, he who. Anuvakta, the speaker. Iha, in this world. Saha, he. Na, not. Drishyate, I keep on saying drishyate. Drishyata is visible. Karhichit, at any time. Translation and commentary by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Yamarāja continued, O lamenters, you are all fools. The person named Suyajña, from whom you lament, is still lying before you and has not gone anywhere. Then what is the cause for your lamentation? Previously he heard you and replied to you, but now, not finding him, you are lamenting. This is contradictory behavior, for you have never actually seen the person within the body who heard you and replied. There is no need for your lamentation, for the body you have always seen is lying here. Purport. Then this instruction by Yamarāja in the form of a boy is understandable even for a common man. A common man who considers the body the self is certainly comparable to an animal. Yasyatma buddhi kunape tridatuke sa eva gokaraha. But even a common man can understand that after death a person is gone. Although the body is still there, a dead man's relatives lament that the person has gone away. For a common man sees the body, but cannot see the soul, as described in Bhagavad Gita, Dehinas Minyata Dehe. The soul, the proprietor of the body, is within. After death, when the breath within the nostrils has stopped, one can understand that the person within the body, who was hearing and replying, has now gone. Therefore, in effect, the common man concludes that actually the spirit soul was different from the body, and has now gone away. Thus, even a common man, coming to his senses, can know that the real person who was within the body and was hearing and replying was never seen. For that which was never seen, what is the need of lamentation? Om Ganatapadandasya Gananjana Shalakya Chakshu Ladmaditamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Kam Karirvacha Lampangam Langate Gidim Yat Kripatamaham Bande Shri Gurunditadaram Vancha Kapadribishcha Kripa Sindivyevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Translation again. Yamarāja continued, O lamenters, you are all fools. The person named Suyajña, from whom you lament, is still lying before you and has not gone anywhere. Then what is the cause for your lamentation? Previously, He heard you and replied to you, but now, not finding him, you are lamenting. This is contradictory behavior. For you have never actually seen the person within the body who heard you and replied. There is no need for your lamentation, for the body you have always seen is lying here. So Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, Ashocana Vashochastvam Pragyavadang Shabashase, that he says that to Arjuna he chastises him, as Yamarāja here is similarly doing. He's saying, "Oh, lamenters, you are all fools." So Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. So I thought we could look at that purport a little bit from Srila Prabhupada in the Bhagavad Gita. Short purport. The Lord at once took the position of the teacher and chastised the student, calling him indirectly a fool. The Lord said, "You are talking like a learned man, but you do not know that one who is learned, one who knows what is body and what is soul, does not lament for any stage of the body, neither in the living nor in the dead condition." As explained later in later chapters, it will be clear that knowledge means to know matter and spirit and the controller of both. Arjuna argued that religious principles should be given more importance than politics or sociology, but he did not know that knowledge of matter, soul, and the Supreme is even more important than religious formularies. And because he was lacking in that knowledge, he should not have posed himself as a very learned man. As he did not happen to be a very learned man, he was consequently lamenting for something which was unworthy of lamentation. The body is born, and it is destined to be vanquished, today or tomorrow. Therefore, the body is not as important as the soul. One who knows this is actually learned, and for him there is no cause for lamentation, regardless of the condition of the material body. So yeah, as we know, there's different stages that the body goes through, or as we are experiencing, there's different stages that the body goes through. Childhood, youth, or Prabhupada says boyhood, youth, growing older, old age, and then dwindling. Or like we see those changing bodies exhibition. One devotee, right, painted that many years ago. So yeah, we see practically that the body goes through these changes, and we also, again, we are also experiencing that, at least, which is interesting because we're not really, it's like imperceptible. You look at, it doesn't, in other words, it feels like it's not happening. Just like when you're in a plane, it doesn't feel that you're just like going thousands of feet up in the air. But that's what's happening. So if we look at our lives, we'll see that, okay, well, once I was, if we may have pictures, right? Baby pictures, pictures when we were 5 years old, 10 years old, 15-year-old, 20-year-old, 30-year-old, 40, 50, 60, right? Depending on it, 70, depending on our age. So we have pictures, and although the body is imperceptibly changing, it's changing. It's happening. It's going on. And so similarly, just as our bodies are changing imperceptibly, in one sense, similarly, similarly, time is passing. It doesn't feel like time is passing. And just how we could look in the mirror one day and say, wow, looks like I've become old, or looks like the body has become old. So similarly, we could look at our lives and say, oh, what did I do with my life? So much time has passed. Have I achieved what I'm supposed to achieve? Have I attained my goals? And hopefully hopefully we have spiritual goals. We also may have material goals. We're living in the material world, right? People, depending on their situation, they may have material goals. Means, I don't know, get a career or this or that or whatever. But hopefully we have spiritual desires, and hopefully that we don't look in the mirror one day and realize how much time has passed and how we haven't attained those goals. Because, yeah, time goes by fast. And as time goes by, yeah, things just deteriorate. At one point, fast. The body also. So Srila Prabhupada's making the point here in the purport, the different purports, that a learned person doesn't lament, means doesn't unnecessarily lament the death of a person's body. It means that they carry on with their duties, they carry on with their Krishna consciousness. Yeah, they don't unnecessarily lament. And at the same time, which Bajranayan Swami, he was bringing up this point the other day. What's better? What's better? Hankering or lamenting? What do you think? Does anyone want to say? Neither, yeah. Well, if you had to pick, which one? Hankering's better? Okay. Why is hankering better? Because you're not suffering from lamentation yet. Okay.
You will suffer from
You're suffering from hankering. You don't have it. Just like, for example, okay, you're a guy, right? And you know, it's a big problem sometimes. Actually, people become very violent and hurt others and hurt themselves based on these desires. But you know, you're a guy and you see a bunch of other young guys and they're enjoying. You know, they have money to kind of throw around. They have women, right? Or they have a girlfriend. You know, they're enjoying life in all different possible ways. And you're kind of like on the outskirts, you know, looking through the window. Means looking through the window like you think of these unfortunate people living on the streets. You know, you got these people eating, you know, downtown San Diego, enjoying themselves, and you have these people living on the streets, you know, looking through the window, you know, while they're eating dinner. So you're on the outside, and you're just like a ghost. It's almost like a ghost. Like a ghost has desires, but they cannot fulfill those desires. It's a very difficult situation to be in, actually. So similarly, people, they have desires, but sometimes they cannot be fulfilled. It's very frustrating. So this is hankering. So you can see how much suffering it brings. So anyways, you were saying lamenting. Why lamenting is better?
Because it could be, let's say, it could potentially be in the mode of goodness if you're, you know, grieving process or something.
Okay.
Hankering can be somewhat addictive, whereas lamentation is temporary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so anyways, Bajranarayan Swami's thing was that, okay, well, he felt that lamenting's better. And why he felt lamenting's better is because, okay, you've hankered, you've got something, and then you lost it, right? Okay, you hankered for some big position, some career, and some situation, external situation. So you got all that, and then somehow or other, due to misfortune, you lost it all. And then you're lamenting. Oh, I had this, I had that. Oh, back in the good old days, I had a house in La Jolla, and now I'm living in, wherever, and, lamenting. La Jolla's wealthy spot in San Diego. So he considered that better because from that lamentation, there's a chance, you might wake up and just, all right, well, I'm lamenting. Okay, let me turn towards God. Let me turn towards Krishna. There might be some. Anyway, so that was his. So although it's advised that we shouldn't lament unnecessarily the death of someone, it is natural. It's a human natural human emotion to feel some pain. Just like somebody at one time asked Srila Prabhupada about Arjuna because Arjuna's son was killed, and then apparently he was lamenting, and then this person asked Srila Prabhupada, why Krishna just spoke the whole Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, and now Arjuna is lamenting. Isn't this kind of mundane? And Prabhupada said, no, this is natural. There's some feelings of pain, of sadness, but then you move on. There's a way to move on properly in life. So also in relation to hankering, lamenting, there is spiritual hankering and spiritual lamenting. So material lamenting, it tends to, or what it does is it puts one more in the mode of ignorance and suffering and unhappiness, depression. It puts one more in that mode. So that's how we could tell if we're materially lamenting. We tend to feel these feelings. Whereas spiritual lamenting, yeah, we lament, just like the Charyas, they lament. I've wasted my human form of life. I have not served Krishna. They're lamenting. But then, just a few lines forward, they pray to Krishna, Krishna, please help me. Krishna, please engage me in your service. And they positively engage in Krishna's service in a very happy way. So they're lamenting, but the result is different. The result is positive. And so it's like night and day, actually. So as practitioners of Bhakti, we have to be very careful because we may lament, oh, I'm so fallen, oh, I'm so this, oh, I'm so that, oh, me, oh, no, okay, let me go to the bar, order a beer. I'll try to pacify myself through, it's not spiritual lamentation, it's material. The result's material. But we can lament, okay, I'm fallen, I'm this, I'm that, I'm so many things. But then we say, Krishna, please engage me in your service. Then we positively engage in Krishna's service. It's very important, actually. Because Krishna consciousness is ultimately, okay, we give up this, we give up that, we give up so many things, but ultimately it's a positive process where we're supposed to accept. We accept Krishna's mercy in so many different forms, right? What are some of the forms of Krishna's mercy? Dweja Mani? You're not feeling well? Me neither. What are some of Krishna's mercy forms? Or whoever. Prasadam, yeah, that's, I mean, I mean, everybody knows, right? Prasadam, Srimad Bhagavatam class.
But the holy name.
The holy name of Krishna.
The holy names.
There's so many different forms, yeah. We all know those very clearly. It's maybe I shouldn't have asked the question. We already know it, right? It's not difficult enough. But we accept those, positive, not just reject, reject, reject. The Mayavadis, they reject, reject, reject. But the Vaishnavas, we accept so much, so many positive forms of devotional service. And in terms of hankering, I mean, there's material hankering. It means hankering material. It means hankering for, you know, material stuff or one's own material gratification. But hankering spiritually means we may hanker, like for example, okay, I may hanker to have a mansion, right? I'm hankering for that. All right. But you could say Srila Prabhupada, he was hankering to have a beautiful temple, beautiful temples for Krishna, like in Juhu and Vrindavan and Mayapur. He was hankering. I want to see this one day. We should do this. So he was engaging that quality of hankering in Krishna service. Or we could say that, we could hanker that I want a bunch of people to become devotees, right? We're hankering. So anyways, there's so many different ways we could hanker spiritually. And the result's different. If we hanker materially, then yeah, it doesn't satisfy us. But if we're hankering spiritually, we become more and more satisfied in Krishna service. And just like so many of our acharyas, like you have Srila Namacharya, Srila Haridasa Thakura. Haridasa Thakura, he was such a wonderful, perfect example of having such a great taste for chanting Krishna's names. He was chanting all day and all night. So he was hankering he was hankering for Krishna's mercy. He was greedy for Krishna's mercy in the form of chanting his holy name. And somehow or other, it said he was also preaching. Not sure how he had time exactly for that with all the chanting, but he was preaching, right, at one point with Lord Nityananda. And this hankering that Haridasa Thakura had for Krishna's mercy in the form of his holy names, it continued throughout his life. But then at one particular point, due to his physical, due to his body failing, old and so on, he had a hard time chanting his prescribed number of rounds. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he went to visit Srila Haridasa Thakura, and he asked Haridasa Thakura, he said, how is everything? How are you doing? And he said, my body is, how does he say? My body is doing okay, but my mind is not well. And the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, can you explain more? And then he says, I'm in a diseased condition. I cannot chant my rounds. I cannot complete my rounds. Of course, he had a lot of rounds to complete. I mean, maybe most of us, or maybe all of us, won't be able to chant as many rounds as he did every day, just one day in our life. I mean, he chanted a lot. It's like 192 or something rounds. That's like all day. Not sure if anybody's tried that, but he said, I cannot complete my rounds. And then Srila Prabhupada, he brings the point up in the purport and the verse, and he says that out of all the instructions of the spiritual master, it's very interesting, out of all the instructions of the spiritual master, the instruction to chant at least 16 rounds a day is the most important. It's interesting. And he says without that chanting of 16 rounds, at least 16 rounds every day, then one cannot remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead properly. And then Prabhupada goes on to explain that those who cannot complete their prescribed number of rounds are considered to be in a diseased condition of spiritual life. But Haridasa Thakur, he was lamenting. He was saying, I cannot finish my rounds. It's a lamentation, but it's spiritual. He's saying, I want to do this, but I can't do it. And he's lamenting. And then he goes on to say that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I have a feeling that you're going to wind up your pastimes and you're going to leave me. But I have a desire, and my desire is that I want to leave before you. And I want to leave looking at your lotus face, chanting your name. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says to him that, Haridasa Thakur, that, anyways, he's indicating that how can I live without you? In other words, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling Haridasa Thakur, how can I live without you? How can I continue without you? So if you leave before me, this won't be very good. And Haridasa Thakur said that, oh, my dear Lord, please do not create an illusion. And he said, I was born in a low family. I was born in a family of meat eaters. And I am always engaged in low work. So he's like he's showing some feelings of himself being fallen. It's a form of lamentation. And then he says that if he says there's so many devotees in your pastimes, and he says if one of them leaves, there's no issue. And he compares himself to an ant. He says if an ant leaves the world, nobody laments. So humble. And he was out of all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya, he was Namachari, he was the teacher of the holy name. So then Lord Chaitanya had to go perform his noon duties, bathing, chanting Gayatri, the different duties. So then, but it's understood he agreed that he'll come the next day. So he came the next day, and he met Haridasa Thakur, and Haridasa Thakur says he was breathing very slowly, and he was chanting Krishna's names. And Haridasa Thakur, he put Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's feet on his chest. And it says that Haridasa Thakur was looking at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's face, and it says that tears were just gliding down his face, streams of tears. He was looking at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he was chanting Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. He was looking at him. And then at that particular point, he gave up his life. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu put him on his lap, and then at one point he was dancing with him, dancing with Haridasa Thakur, chanting Hare Krishna, dancing. And then at one particular point, they entombed Haridasa Thakur's body near the sea there in Jagannath Puri. You could still go there. There's a samadhi there, right near the ocean, Jagannath Puri. And it says that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, upon witnessing this, his great devotee, which is because actually I'm thinking about it now. Haridasa Thakur, if you look at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, I mean, maybe there's someone else, but I'm not thinking of anyone else. Maybe, but he's the only one who left before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's company, it's a unique pastime. So after seeing Haridasa Thakur leave, after dancing with Haridasa Thakur, entombing his body near Jagannath Puri, near the ocean, having this festival, it says that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he went to take rest, and he said, with mixed feelings of distress and happiness. Means he was feeling distress. He was lamenting that he was losing a particular type of association with his devotee. But so that was causing distress. But also there was some happiness there because he knew that Haridasa Thakur reached the final goal. So it was a mixed feeling. So similarly, instead of getting absorbed in all of this business of material hankering and lamenting, we are advised to learn the art of spiritual lamentation and spiritual hankering. And when we lose the company of Vaishnavas or devotees, again, instead of engaged in material lamentation, it should be spiritual. And we should learn the art of feeling similar feelings, or at least trying to feel similar feelings, or in that light of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of mixed feelings of distress and happiness. So, does anybody have any question or comment? Yes, sir. Tomorrow's verse is 45. Okay.
Thank you for the class. When I heard about this, your narration about lamentation or hankering, I remember in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains that, how to say, that a person should be not hankering, lamentate, and the person should accept everything what happens in his life. And he explains that any happiness situation will come without our efforts, and also bad situations come without our efforts because of its karma.
Yes.
And we should not do, how to say, to do something with it. We should
accept.
Yes, we should accept, and we should, like you said, the second part of lecture, that we should change this goal. And the question, this we can see that this is like three gunas. Lamentation is tamas, hankering rajas, and middle is sattva. And how to say, this what means be in sattva guna, that anyway we something wish, we something lament about something. How to avoid this? How to?
Okay. Yeah. So sattva guna, mode of goodness, it's not very popular in the world. The other modes are popular. Mode of ignorance, mode of passion. It's very popular modes, and in the culture of the world today. music, movies, all et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's all predominantly governed by the mode of passion and ignorance. So yeah, we're kind of used to those modes, passion and ignorance. I mean, like if somebody's not lamenting or hankering, they're like, "What's wrong with you? Are you okay? You know, should we take you to a psychologist, therapist? You feeling all right? You know, like you seem to have lost your drive." So it's, you could say, part of the world culture right now, to pretty much be in the modes of nature and to whatever, lament, hanker. But you could say sattva or just being Krishna conscious, you know, we learn how to be satisfied, not unnecessarily hankering, oh, you know, I got to get to this point, and just like not really being satisfied. There's always something around the corner that we need, that we want, that we're desiring. I mean, we have desires. We may, whatever, may get a new car, we may get a new house, we may, whatever, buy this, buy that. But there's a difference between doing things in a balanced way versus imbalanced way. So hankering in the mode of passion, it's imbalanced. Like just, hey, calm down, you know, like it's okay, you know, just you don't need this, you don't need that, just and then there's lamenting, okay. It's again, it's natural, but it tends to really sink one into the mode of ignorance, right? So again, sattva means, okay, there's natural feelings of pain, of distress, but because one is governed by the mode of goodness, then they move on. You know, it's balanced. See, the mode of ignorance is imbalanced, and the mode of passion is imbalanced. So mode of goodness is balanced, means there's knowledge there. Okay, I'm suffering. Somebody passed away. Okay, I'm suffering. There's some separation. Okay, fine. Anybody will feel that. But a person in the mode of goodness, they have knowledge. And they'll say, okay, it's happened. Okay, it's going to happen to all bodies. Happen to my body. It's part of life. Okay, let me move on with my duty. Let me move on in my life. And they have tools to do that. But mode of ignorance, oh, you know, this person left. Oh no, my world's over. How am I going to live? And okay, let me just, in some case, whatever, suicide. Let me do. There's just like there's not a balanced approach. So knowledge practically means to learn how to be balanced. It's an art. And goodness is balanced. Like, for example, giving advice. Somebody who is not balanced, they'll give you wrong advice. Advice tinged with the mode of ignorance or advice tinged with the mode of passion. It's just wrong advice because they're not thinking clearly. So in other words, so you say, okay, well, how do we do that? Well, it's described in the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, what are the different qualities of the mode of goodness, right? Food, this, that, so many different things, cleanliness, all these things. So we try to know what is goodness, and then we try to be in it, and we try to associate with people who are in the mode of goodness, inspire us, right? So, does anybody have any?
Hare Krishna.
Okay, we have. Yes, sir, you could go.
May I?
Yes, please.
Yes, Balaram Prabhu, thank you very much. You're most kind. Dandavat pranams. Prabhu, my question is related to you mentioning the different forms of mercy exhibited by Lord Krishna. And I did mention the holy names together with Ravida Prabhu. But I also hear from the devotees in general that related to the Vaishnava calendar, the most merciful month of the whole year is the Kartik month.
Yes.
So based on this, my exact question is, if the devotees are correct, most merciful in what sense? That is my question.
Okay. Well, generally, like when we talk about mercy and getting the mercy and all of these things, a lot of the times people think of mercy that, well, I don't deserve it, or that person didn't deserve it, or in other words, they didn't perform the activities, the necessary activities to deserve that mercy. Just like you look at Jaga and Madai, okay, what did they do? They did a lot of sinful activity. Now you could argue maybe they did something good, but generally people look at Jaga and Madai and think they didn't take the necessary steps to get Krishna's full mercy, but they did. They got Krishna's full mercy, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's full mercy. So similarly, within this month, the idea is that even if one doesn't really give their 100%, or one doesn't really fully engage, but if they just do a little bit, or if they do more than they usually do, there's a lot of mercy to be attained. So in other words, by giving a little, you get a lot, or by giving a lot, you get a lot more. You know, so in other words, the amount of mercy available is overflowing in this month, and it's very easily attained. You know, offer a lamp. Anybody could do that. So that's, or as it's brought up recently, it's like wholesale, right? 90% off. Apparently, Jayapataka Swami, when he visited here, he said 90% off Nordstrom's. And then some devotees said, well, we wouldn't go to Nordstrom's. Well, some devotees will. Whatever. Buy this, buy that, buy... So the idea is it's a wholesale mercy. That's the idea.
So that is your answer?
Yes.
As to be expected, Prabhu, not only helpful, but so sweet, such a sweet answer, and very, very clarifying. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Okay, one more.
Yes, I was just curious. Thank you for the class, Prabhu. So I was curious, the concepts of transcendental and material lamentation and hankering, is this like a concept related to ego and false ego?
I mean, yeah, I mean, if somebody's lamenting materially or hankering materially, then yeah, it's not the real ego shining forth, it's the false ego. Not so easy to give that up, false ego. But yeah, if one is more engaged in spiritual lamentation and hankering, then yeah, that is, you could say they're acting from the platform of real ego, their real self. So, yeah. All right. Contradictory Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai.